Hello. Before this video starts, I gotta say a quick thing, and it's so incredibly dumb. So when I started recording the video, I didn't take a look at the at OBS while I'm recording, and I mean, you see the important stuff like what I'm coding, but what you don't see is basically when I'm testing out stuff in the Discord. And I just realized that at the end of the video, and yeah, it was quite embarrassing. And yeah, I felt kind of ashamed that this mistake happened to me. But anyway, so just don't wonder when I'm talking about stuff I'm seeing in the Discord, and you just still see these codes. So you see like a little spoiler right here, what will happen in this video, and yeah, just enjoy. Don't blame me for it. Please blame me for it, so I may learn from my mistakes and enjoy the video. Hello and welcome back to another tutorial of my Discord PY series, and in this video we're going to focus on how you can build commands. So I recently announced that we were going to do something more interesting like moderation commands, but as I thought over this, I kind of realized that we should maybe first go over the basics of how you can create commands and how they work and what you need to actually make one. So I decided to put this video into the timeline right before getting into the interesting stuff, so that you know what you need to include when making a command and how you can make embeds and all that stuff. So I'd say let's get right into it. So to show this off on an example, we are going to the fun.py cog we created in the last episode, I guess it was. And what we're going to do here is we're basically wanting to create a command. So we're just making the bot respond to this command with a text message, so nothing special happens. So the bot just responds with another message to the command. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna first write some code, and then we're gonna break this code down bit by bit, and I gotta explain you what you're doing there. So first I gotta do commands.cog actually commands.command, and in here I'm gonna say the name, and the name is in this case just hello. Make it not capitalized. So hello, and down there, so right in the line of that, we're gonna just create a def, and I'm naming this def normally as the name of the command, and after that underscore command, and in here we're gonna say self and first just ctx, and in here we're just gonna say await ctx.send hello, and I gotta do something more complicated in here. I'm gonna say ctx.author.mention, and after that just an exclamation mark, and I've got to put an F right in front of the double quotes here, and yeah, that's basically our command. So what this command does is basically just yeah, it just responds to the user. I can show you that. I can just restart. Oh no, not that file. Oh no, we should probably do this in the start .py file, and yeah, it should. Yeah, right there it loads, and all right. Yeah, I need to turn something on here. Hold on a second. Yeah, that was quite unprepared. Anyway, gotta restart it, and there we go. It's online, and I gotta switch back. And as you might have seen, I quite changed the environment. So yeah, I think we're gonna keep this environment we see right here for yeah, for the rest now. I'm coding the basement bot, so that's gonna be the bot that's introduced on my own Discord server, link in description. And yeah, I'd say we just test this out. So we're gonna say we had as prefix. Oh god, it's so long that I did something. what we did last. So okay, it's just an exclamation mark. So we're gonna say hello, and the bot just basically responds with hello, and then my username of that. So you might be a bit confused by the code I wrote here and what all this fancy stuff is, but chill down, it's not that complicated. So the first line, that's at commands of command. So basically, after the last video, you should know how we built all this stuff here. But you basically start off a command, like in line 7, with commands, and after this, the parentheses, no, they're not called parentheses. Are they? I think they're called parentheses. I'm confused. I should research this again. But in these, let's just call them C's now. In these C's, you basically have a name, and after this, an equal, like you do something in Python, and then double quotes the name of the command. So you could technically, or you could actually leave this empty and just continue on, but these have to be here, and you just could continue on, but then the command name would be basically the name of the function you have here, right here. So it would not be exclamation mark hello, it would be exclamation mark hello underscore command. And as I always do this, so we will come to the naming rule here later, I just always do basically this. So right, once you've written this line, you can move on to the next line that's down there. There's like one line under that. It's basically async. That stands for asynchrone. You just normally do this in Python for commands in discrete.py. After this, followed by the word def, which declares and I think it's called, I don't really know the English term right now for that, but yeah, that's just my fault anyway. But important, write def, and after def you can name something. You can actually write this stuff behind it and it would still accept it, but as you want to keep your code clean and recognizable and readable for others, so that's basically the intention you should have. I normally write the command name, so what the command is named, in this case hello, and after that an underscore in command, so I know that it's a command. Once you've just named this, you do the parentheses after it again, and in here, as we're in a class, we need to do self, so we need to put in self as first parameter, and after this you're just putting in ctx, which basically stands just for context, and this is like a parameter that's basically so you can imagine every command as you declared as everything that comes after here. You basically just need like these are different arguments you have to include in your command. So as you should have basic Python knowledge in the series, you should know that in these are just basically parameters that needs to be passed in later on, and ctx is basically just context, so the message you wrote, and from this on we have like a point where we can go out and search up stuff, which we'll come also to later in this line here. But after this you just do you just go to the next line and intend 1, and in here what we did is we basically just wrote await, so it's waiting that the bot has like a clear line. So that's just pretty easy to describe, but that you have like a basic knowledge of what it's doing. So this function needs to be awaited, so called. So just do this here. So yeah, just do this here. Just really important, await. A lot of people forget that, and I do even sometimes too. But yeah, mark this, so don't forget it. After this you put ctx, which just refers to context, .send, which is basically you can actually just do the same as ctx.channel .channel.send, but I don't really know if that works, but normally you just do ctx.send because it's shorter. So it's basically just sending a message in the channel where the context was sent in, so that makes me a bit more sense. After this you do parentheses again, and then we can basically, what I did here is f for an f string, which allows me to, if I have these curly brackets here, and I put stuff in here that has a bit of different syntax, then it's basically converting this to. So basically, it's just a format string. F stands for format, and then it's formatting cdx.author.mention, which is basically cdx, which is referring to our context again. .author, which is basically the user who wrote the message. .mention, which mentions the user who sent the message, and this is converting it into basically, as we saw here, a mention. And after this, basically just an exclamation mark, double quote close, and parenthesis close. And this is everything you need in your command. And make sure to just experiment around this. So you could basically, so you can like search up a lot of stuff in here. What you could also do optionally to get things recommended is you can basically just put 2 curly brackets in here. Remove the F, really important, otherwise it will give you an error. And after the double quote closing, you put a dot and then format, and then parentheses again. And in here, you're just you just type in cdx.author.name, for example. So here actually should recommend you some stuff that's that could be written here. But as we do the same here. So as we just wrote name, the difference basically will be that it won't be an mention anymore. It will just be my plain name. So yeah, that's basically the thing. Yeah, just feel free to experiment around with this. Don't fear errors. Just try to solve them. And as you know the basics of how you can create a command, we can actually get into making an embed. An embed is basically, you should actually know what an embed is, otherwise you're going to see that. But ignore this line for now, so we're just going to commenting it out. And what we're doing here now is we're going to declare a variable. So also we need to import Discord for that. So we're just going to say import Discord. What we're going to do in here is we're going to declare a variable. So we're going to call this variable embed, and this embed variable is referring to discord.embed, and after this you do parentheses. And in here it's important that you have basically title, which we can basically refer to hello. So you can just put in here whatever you want. Then description, description, which is basically then the description of the image. Says, for example, we can do this, make this an F string again. Say, hello and welcome, and then after this our curly brackets again, and like we said, cdx.author.mention. And then basically color, you can put in color code after this. So to put in color code after this, you have to put in 0x, no, in parentheses you have to put 0x, and after this the color code. Yeah, but we're gonna leave the color empty for now. And what we can do here, down here, is basically now we can do like a lot of fancy stuff. But before we do that, before we get into the fancy stuff with making embeds, we're gonna send the embed. So instead of sending a message here with await ctx.send, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say embed equals to embed. So that the botnet should send an embed instead of a message. So when we restart this now for a second. There we go. And we send the command again. It says basically, this is basically in the embed. So it has the default color, the title of the embed is hello, and down here basically we're just having hello and welcome and then my username again. So so far by that, what we can do now is we can get into the fancy stuff. So to put any extra stuff in here, we're gonna say embed dot, and then we have like a lot of options. I normally basically just for example do stuff like, so we have these these options here. So embed.set thumbnail, set image, set footer, set field at, set author, remove field, remove author, and basically set field somewhere. Like, where is it? Or it's called add field. Yeah, it's called add field. And what this does is basically, in field always has an I think it has a name, and it has a value. So value, and it has inline, true or false. So inline blah blah blah, whether this is in boolean, so it can be true or false. What this means, I'm gonna show you that in a second. But name basically can also be this is a greeting to, and then a value we can basically just put in again ctx dot author dot mention. For this we don't need double quotes, so don't mind about that. And once we restart the bot, it should be online by now, and we send this again, you see that it added this field with a smaller heading and basically text that can be added down there. And if we add a couple more of these, so if we just do copy and paste a bit under here, and you see that inline is always set to false, the difference will be pretty clear, as you see here. Then, so it basically just stacks them under each other. And when we change all this stuff here, and if we change all the stuff here, if we change like all the false to true, I don't know the shortcut to edit all this stuff at once, so I need to do it old school. So if we set all this stuff to true, basically what's then going to look like is that. So it's just letting them float right next to each other. This sometimes may look a bit weird, but you have to gotta deal with that on your own. So that always depends on the context that's in here. And yeah, this so far to embeds. When you also want to do stuff with the other stuff with the embed, for example, adding a author, set author, then we basically have in here name, and we say hello, for example, or the author is basically basement bot, then basement bot, and then we can say URL, icon URL, and then we can put like an image URL behind there. Let me search some image here. Let's say, yeah, basically, that can take a while. I didn't prepare anything. Yeah, just taking a picture of a basement, so I'm gonna copy the address of it and putting it in the in double quotes here. What will happen then is if we just restart it for a second, it takes a time, and we copy that again. Basically it edits the picture we basically have right here. Let me switch this in. Oh, I quite did a mistake. So you didn't see it at all. Great. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I suppose, yeah, I actually suppose, that, so I just had to reswitch this. So basically, yeah, I switched the environment, and yeah, you see basically what I mean. Yeah, I just realized that right now. And what I also mean is I took this picture right here. I just Googled basement, and it basically put oh my god, I need to mark this as a fail on my channel. That's like a really big fail. Anyway, so yeah, basically this image is now set as an URL here, and same goes for footer and all that stuff. And yeah, this is basically how you can create embeds. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you wanna reread the whole chat, yeah, you can basically read it here. You can pause the video and read through all it and try to get behind it. That was my fault because I set 2 different versions of layers in my in OBS, and yeah, that was my fault. But faults happen, and I'm gonna learn of them hopefully, and I hope you don't get confused by that. So yeah. So I'd say we see us in the next video, and in the next video we're gonna do some more fancy stuff, and see you then. Bye.